Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome once again, as always, to another helping of Mr H's Hot Pot. You join me today on this chilly October morning. I've had to dig out the old winter-esque jacket and get the old hat out here in St David's churchyard in my hometown of Wigan. Now, this church straddles the villages of Aspel and Haigh, and it's sort of right on the fringe of the Wigan borough for anybody who knows the geographical area of Wigan. Now, I've come here today, Hot Potters, to take a look at a little curiosity that's rumoured to lie within this churchyard. Now, a skill that I've always admired throughout my life is that of the stonemason. As many of you know, I used to work in the construction industry. I was a brickie by trade, and I always admired the way stonemasons did the job. However, they weren't infallible, and they were prone to making the odd mistake here and there. And case in question, it's rumoured that there is a gravestone that lies within this churchyard somewhere that records the date of the person who passed away as being that of the 31st of April. Now, I've no idea whereabouts this grave is within this particular churchyard. There is supposed to be about 10,000 burials within this churchyard, as the small selection of graves that you can see behind me there is rather deceiving. There's not many graves on this particular side of the church. But over on the other side of the church, where we'll be going in a moment, is where the majority of the graves are. And I think this grave will find it if we look hard enough. Now, obviously, I could be here quite a while searching through all these graves if there's 10,000 burials here. So I'm going to nip off camera now, and I'm going to try and take a look round, and hopefully I'll find it without too much trouble. But join me in a moment when hopefully we've found this curious little gravestone and we'll be able to take a closer look at it. Okay folks, welcome back. As you can see, I'm now on the other side of St David's Church, where it's a little bit sunnier and it's half a jacket warmer, as we say here in Wigan. Now, there's still a little bit of an October breeze knocking about, so I'm not going to dispense with the jacket just yet, and I do apologise if any wind gets caught on camera whilst I'm making this part of this video. But I've managed to find this grave. However, I needed a little bit of help, if I'm being honest, Hot Potters, because I've been walking up and down all the rows of graves in this churchyard for about an hour and a half, and I found zilch. I couldn't find it. Luckily for me, someone was walking the dog in this churchyard. They've seen me obviously looking for something, and they came over and asked me, you know, could they give me some help? And they knew exactly where the grave that I'm looking for was, so they brought me straight to it. Big thank you to you, sir. Unfortunately, I didn't get your name, but if you are watching this video, a big thank you to you. You know who you are. Anyway, without further ado, I'll whip the camera around now and we'll take a look at this grave, shall we? And here it is, folks. As you can see, the gravestone reads, "Sacred to the memory of Jeremiah Parr, who died April 31st, 1871, aged 11 years. And then the gravestone goes on to record other members of the Parr family who are also interned in this grave. Now, I've no idea how that mistake's come about, but my theory is that the stonemason who originally chiselled this gravestone, although obviously very talented with his hands, with an hammer and a chisel, he probably did most of his work from someone writing down words for him, and he just copied them onto stone, so to speak. And probably what's happened there is, for whatever reason, someone's told him that Jeremiah Parr passed away on the last day of April, and he has thought, due to ill education, that there was 31 days in April, and has recorded it as so. Now, I wasn't expecting to find a gravestone that was broken. I was looking for a full gravestone that was stood up, and that's another reason why I was struggling to find it. But as you can see here, it's now broken in two places, but luckily that crack that runs through Jeremiah's name hasn't transferred through to that mistake, which is lucky really, because as I said, these sort of curiosities, you don't see very often. It's also a bit of a mystery as to why the Parr family accepted this mistake, and it does make you wonder if they even knew that a mistake had been made on this gravestone due to ill education. Now, that's no disrespect to all the people back in the 1800s, especially around 1871, because education wasn't as easily accessible back then as it is today. Anyway, for anybody who's wondering where this particular grave is, if they visit St David's churchyard themselves, maybe you've heard this story but you didn't know where it was, I'll just show you now. I'll slowly raise the camera, and if people make their way along this concrete path here from the church, which I'll just swing round to in a moment, once you get round the church there, look for that unique grave there with a cross on it. And it's just 3 graves over. And you'll easily find it if you make your way along that path, as I've said. And then, there it is. Anyway, folks, I think I'll whip the camera around now and wrap this video up. Well, folks, sadly that brings us to the end of today's little video and little adventure. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, taking a look at a little curiosity here in my hometown of Wigan. I've certainly enjoyed making this video, even if it's not been as long as my normal videos. We'll call this one a mini hot pot, shall we? Anyway, I'm going to head off back to the old jalopy now to dump the camera equipment, then I'm going to return to make my way to that pub there in the background that you can just see through the trees, the Balcarres Arms, because they do a fantastic pub lunch. And anybody who's in this area, I certainly recommend you go and try it for yourselves. Once I've done that and I've filled my belly, so to speak, I'm going to head off back home to edit up this video, ready for your edification as always. So, until the next time, from myself, Mr H, it is bye-bye for now.